Здравствуйте, с вами я, Марианна Тамбелини, и сегодня мы говорим о теме, которую я уже поднимала в вопросе о бэби-бумерах. Вы знаете, кто такие бэби-бумеры? Это люди, поколение, которое родилось между 46 и 61 годом, и о проблемах бумеров мы говорили в другом видео. И я говорила о том, что одна из серьезных проблем этого поколения связана с одиночеством. Улетели дети из гнезда, остались родители и перестали ладить друг с другом. И для меня есть один очевидный рецепт от одиночества – это знакомство через интернет. Как же люди относятся к этому новому, модерновому способу знакомства? Сегодня я беседую с хозяйкой гостиничного комплекса, который называется «Тотем». Ее зовут Терри. И сегодня Терри расскажет нам, может быть, пару историй о том, что она думает по этому поводу. И из своего личного опыта поделится своими замечаниями. Итак, Terry.
Yes.
I introduced you to my Russian-speaking listeners and customers. So my question is, our generation didn't know what is this internet and what is this internet dating.
No,
now it's different times, it's 21st century, and what do you think about this? The way people are looking for their partners. I know that you meet here in your hotel and motel complex. You meet a lot of people. Every day you have hundreds of them. And maybe you share some ideas about maybe their stories. What do you think about this possibility?
I think it's a great possibility. I really do, because we didn't have it when we were growing up, and it was sometimes hard to meet people.
Yes.
And the more you tried, the more you flopped. It seemed like you just didn't meet people unless you had a friend of a friend, or you had a place to go, or maybe you could
from mouth
join
to
a
mouth.
club, mouth to mouth, or join a club, join a church, join a sports group, join some kind of an organization, clubs, to meet people. And then that doesn't always work either. You can go, out with that. Most of the time, it happens when you're least expecting it. First of all, and
Yeah, that's right.
That's when you meet somebody, lots of times it's from a friend, knowing a friend of a friend. But today you have the opportunity to put all your information and your hopes and dreams into the internet, and then somebody else does that, and maybe you click with somebody, and I think it's a fairly safe way, as long as you don't. If you don't want to meet them, you don't have to, right?
That's right.
You put your information in, and they say, okay, we have a match for you. You can arrange to meet. You can arrange to have somebody else there along with you. You can meet. You can talk, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, start over again.
Do you think is it possible, in your opinion, to find out really what kind of person is there behind the screen?
I think you have to be really careful too.
Careful.
Yeah. Careful is good, because you don't know. You never really know a person till you know them. But then even when you're just meeting somebody, you don't really know anything about them either. Not much.
You should be careful even in real life too.
Yes. Yes. And then if you, I'm just thinking of an example of a friend of mine. Her daughter went around with a fellow for 7 years, and then it became evident that he didn't want to get married and didn't want to have kids. So of course she was brokenhearted. And
They met in the internet.
No, they didn't meet in the internet.
They met in real life.
Yes,
Okay.
And she broke up with him, and she was very miserable for quite a while. And then she decided to put her name into the internet and try to meet somebody, and she did. And now she's been with this person for a couple of years.
So she met somebody there
through the internet, and now they're very, very happy. They're very, very suited for each other.
Oh.
and she doesn't know what she ever saw in the other guy, right? So it was a good thing for her.
It's great. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it doesn't always turn out that way, but I think in most cases, you know, I don't think you can really lose. I don't think you can lose other than just saying, okay, well, that one didn't work. We'll try and meet somebody else. You know, like, because
So
you don't know.
Would you suggest to the people, for women, lonely women after 35, after 40 years old?
Yeah.
Do you think it's normal? It's just agreeable to go to the internet and to place your profile and try to find?
I think so. I think so a lot, because why should you just be sitting there by yourself your whole life? You could be missing out on something.
Especially we live here in this very small town, and it's very difficult.
There's nobody, you can't
nobody
meet
there
unless you know a friend of a friend of a friend or something, you know. But here, you know, you don't. And where do you go? Where do you go to meet? You know, and why should you be sitting there all by yourself and lonely when you could be meeting somebody? You know?
What would be your advice to my Russian-speaking women, my listeners?
I would say to give it a try, because it's you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. If you lose one, you can try for another one. So
exactly.
You don't need to be afraid. You just need to be careful. And when you do decide to meet somebody, then meet them, and if it works out, go ahead and give it a shot, because. You know, like I say, you don't want to be sitting there all by yourself for your whole life, when you could be with somebody, and be with somebody who's very suited for you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
С нами Терри поделилась своим впечатлением и своей историей о своей знакомой. И я благодарю. I thank you very much, Terry, for your time and for your helpful advice. И до следующей встречи. Всего доброго.
С вами была...
С вами была Марианна Тамбелини.